All right, well, we all know about Elon Musk's recent acquisition of Twitter for $44 billion, but it's also undergone a complete overhaul of the company's workplace culture as he looks to a high-performance culture, in fact, at the social media organisation, and that has raised many questions about workplace culture. To talk us through that, Joydeep Hoare from People and Culture Strategies joins us now. Joydeep, good to catch up with you. So yeah, he has been Elon Musk, of course. He causes more than ripples, he causes waves wherever he goes. So what do we see actually happening at Twitter? He's already laid off a good deal of people. He's pretty much flicked the leadership there. He's taken on the reins himself. And then I see perhaps he's not asking employees there to work 40 hours, he's expecting 80 hours a week.
Yeah, ripples, waves, some might even say tsunamis, Andrew. Good morning. It's, look, high-profile individuals, high-profile acquisitions, they're always going to be attracting attention just on the corporate and acquisitional side of it. This has been taken to a whole new level with some very clear and obvious messaging that he wants to introduce radical change. But what's implicit when someone does what Elon Musk is doing, and just to be clear about that, as you say, pretty much dismantling the entire leadership team, indicating to staff implicitly that they're not working hard enough, indicating that things that they've had the benefit of, such as recreation days or rest days, the flexibility to work from anywhere, whatever else, that all of that's changing, all of that's going out the window. It's very much there's a new sheriff in town, and this is how it's going to be. But what happens in these kinds of situations is if you're a Twitter employee, and I'd suggest, as is the case in the majority of organisations, I'm sure the vast majority of the Twitter workforce are dedicated employees doing the right thing by their employer, working hard, doing a good job within the confines of what they've been told a good job is. And then all of a sudden, your new boss, your new owner comes in and implicitly tells you that you're hopeless. Implicitly tells you that the things that you've been relying on as part of your employment conditions are ending. You're not doing enough. You need to do more. It's hardly going to engender a lot of goodwill. And more importantly, it's hardly going to engender a lot of positive motivation from those particular people. And that's the irony I find in these situations, that at the time when you need the people to work with you and at least give them the time in a patient, more collaborative way, make your assessments on an informed basis rather than coming in and day one pretty much saying that everyone's rubbish.
Joydeep, what are your observations with workplace culture when we have examples like we're seeing with Twitter, where a company moves from employees essentially being answerable to shareholders and to a board, when then it's taken over privately and essentially answerable to one person?
Yeah, well, no doubt there will be a chain of command. There'll be people put into leadership roles. I mean, I don't see Elon having direct conversations with all of the Twitter employees on a regular basis, but who knows? He might be more hands-on than we give him credit for. These things are challenging, and it's challenging for the employees because, as you say, from a cultural perspective, this looks very different. It means that the accountability that employees have is different. Now, arguably, it shouldn't be that different because at the end of the day, everyone has a job to do. Everyone has direct accountability to their managers, supervisors, and whether your shareholders are public shareholders or a smaller group of individuals or entities, you still have accountability. So I think what's really happening here, and from a workplace culture point of view, it's about change management. And organisations, and this is a classic example, are typically not good at introducing change. And when it comes to cultural change, as opposed to mere system change, most organisations fail miserably. And that's why organisations see significant turnover. They see significant adverse reporting on things like Glassdoor and whatever else. And I'm sure Twitter employees, probably more so than most, will be pretty well versed in terms of where they can air their grievances. So culturally, it's about the leaders, the new owners, being patient, making informed assessments, communicating not just as to what's changing, but why it's changing. And that narrative in this day and age is so important. People don't just like being dictated to and being told that, well, I'm the new boss and I'm telling you it's got to be done differently. Even if they agree that things do need to be done differently, they do want to hear your reasons why.
Yeah, so what are the lessons perhaps we can draw from this of, I guess, the dangers of an owner alienating a workforce? I mean, if you want a business to succeed, clearly you want to take the workforce with you and perhaps have those employees mentally invested in the company.
Exactly right, and which is why in acquisition situations, work that we've been doing for several years now is in the space of cultural due diligence. Now, the commercial due diligence part happens pretty regularly. They're big projects, they're expensive and time-consuming projects. Organisations do invest a lot in that part, and understandably so. But the work that needs to be done increasingly is the cultural due diligence. What is the culture, as best we can articulate and define it, of this organisation that we are looking to acquire? How connected or disconnected is that culture from the organisation, either that we have in our extant organisation or the culture that we want to have in that organisation post-acquisition? And why has it been like that? Is that just because of leadership? Is it just because of some individuals? Are there some broader problems that need to be excised from that organisation? That's the work that those looking to acquire entities need to be investing more time and energy in, rather than just the pure commercial due diligence, because you can be made to regret an acquisition pretty quickly by not paying enough attention to the cultural issues in advance.
So overall, Jody, when you take a look at what's going on in Twitter, some would argue perhaps that Elon Musk is being self-destructive here, that, you know, actually genuine concerns of the company's viability. What are your thoughts?
I think that high-profile individuals look to generate a sense of dramatic effect in a lot of their day-to-day corporate activities. This is no doubt a big part around sending a message to all of those people, and to make sure that that's publicly known, that, as I say, there's a new sheriff in town, things are going to be done differently. And I have no doubt that part of what he is hoping for is that people will self-select themselves out of the organisation. And that's been done going back to, you know, Jack Welch days at GE, where, you know, you make some clear messages that not everyone is staying, not everyone's job is safe. And, you know, your bottom 10 to 20% of your organisation are likely to resign and self-select out, meaning that there's less exit work that your managers and your new management team are going to have to do. So there is a lot of drama, there's a lot of controversy. We know that that'll always be there when Elon's involved, but I think a lot of it's about the drama and wanting to send some messages.